Hey, my fellow Omi homies, it's Foster, and I'm back at it again with another YouTube video on my channel. Today, I wanted to focus specifically on a concept I've seen circling in the community quite recently in relation to a lack of understanding and education as it pertains to what digital collectibles and NFTs are and why VEVE is essentially taking over in the digital collectible space. I've seen it come up quite recently with the news of Marvel coming to VEVE and, of course, the Spider-Man drop that we recently had the other day. I was seeing quite a few comments on my socials from people who I guess would be considered traditional collectors who could not wrap their minds around or grasp the concept as to why someone would want to purchase a digital image, and on top of that, what its use case would be and how in any shape or form it would hold value. So I was able to discuss with individual people online a little bit about it and try and educate them on some points that I felt were important. But of course, you can only do so much to convey your thought in 280 characters or less. So I figured I'd take the opportunity to make a quick video and you could share it amongst your friends, colleagues, and peers for anyone that maybe doesn't have an understanding of the base level of digital collectibles, non-fungible tokens, and how VEVE fits into the space. So with that in mind, I want to get the technicals out of the way in that what is a non-fungible token? Now, I hear people talking about NFTs a lot. There's a bunch of NFTs in the space. Why is an NFT important and what is an NFT? So a quick Google search will show you the definition of a non-fungible token. In this instance, a non-fungible token is a unit of data stored on a digital ledger called a blockchain that certifies a digital asset to be unique and therefore not interchangeable. NFTs can be used to represent items such as photos, videos, audio, and other types of digital files. That's quite a bit, so let's unpack it a little bit and understand what exactly that means. So to boil it down to its most simplest terms, an NFT is a contract that verifies that you own something in the digital realm. So when I say own something, we Google the Mona Lisa. There's tons of pictures of the Mona Lisa here. Could I click on a photo of the Mona Lisa, print it out, put it on my wall, and say that I own the Mona Lisa? I could, but does it have value? Anyone that came in to inspect the photo would immediately be able to tell that it's not the original painting. It is not even a certified replica. It is simply just a digital image that I printed out. It's not verifiable anywhere. I don't have digital or actual documentation to support that this item has value. And therefore, could I try and convince someone to buy it off of me? I suppose I could, but the likelihood of it holding any value is very unlikely. Now, with that being said, we see here a Mona Lisa replica sells for 2.9 million euro at an auction, and this was earlier in 2021. So why would someone buy a replica and not an original item for this price? This is for an actual collectible that's not digital. We're going to get into why that may be the case and why intellectual property and owning the licensed rights to an item that has been reproduced is so valuable. Another real world example of something that people don't necessarily classify as an NFT in everyday terms, but something that people interact with regularly that could be classified as an NFT is movie rentals. So we know nowadays, especially with the pandemic, not many people go to the movie theater to watch movies. It's started to open up a little bit again, but for the most part, we have streaming services, and then we have the ability to rent box office movies and watch them in the comfort of our own home. Now, if we're paying $25 for some of these movies to watch them from our home, what are we doing? We're essentially signing a digital contract by making a purchase of an item electronically, and we now have the electronic rights to that item for, in some cases, 24 or 48 hours, or in some cases, when we purchase the movie, we have the indefinite rights to that copy of the video. Now, we don't see it in the front end. All we see is we're purchasing a video and then we watch it. But in the back end, there is in effect a smart contract that has been formed from a buyer and a seller, and that is recorded on a ledger, not necessarily a blockchain, which we use in cryptocurrency, but of course the business or company has that documented that you purchased that copy from them to use it. So if you wanted to turn around and let's say the company gave you the ability to resell that movie afterwards, you would be able to verify that it was a certified copy that has been released by the publisher and not one that, let's say, you just, downloaded illegally from the internet. One of the great things about the blockchain is there is no illegal download of an item because the blockchain, because it's recorded and is public access and knowledge, everyone is able to see whether the item that they're purchasing was minted or created by the original person who had the rights to that item. And that way you're able to verify whether or not that item is legitimate. I hear a lot of people come out and say, okay, but why would I buy a digital collectible that I can't interact with in any way, shape, or form in real life? What would make something like a digital collectible appeal to me? To that, I have a couple things to say. The first of which is, well, here's something that you could conceivably interact with in real life. This is a Pokemon card, one of the biggest collectible items in the entire world. This is a PSA 9 Charizard. It's been rated as a 9, so it's obviously quite valuable, and it's currently up on auction for $1 million US. So I live in Canada, so about $1.25 million. Would I spend $1.25 million on a piece of cardboard with a picture printed on it? I personally would not. But if you ask people like the real Randy Chavez and several other collectors that are in our community, these cards hold value. And what is it about a Pokemon card that holds value? Well, for one, it's a recognizable brand. Pokemon is a brand that everyone in the entire world essentially knows of. We can relate to it from our childhoods. We played with the cards when we were younger. So you have a recognizable brand, and then you also have the exclusivity and the limited mint associated with this card. There are only a handful of cards that are graded, meaning that they're in this quality, that may be available left in the world. And if you want this card and you want to be a part of that exclusive club, you will pay this money. So why is exclusivity and name brand recognition important? Well, let's tie that into something else. As an example, Fortnite, which is a free-to-play game that millions upon millions of people play and that grosses billions of dollars. It's one of the most successful games in the entire world. It has skins that you can purchase to alter your characters while you're in the game. These skins offer no competitive advantage. They simply allow you to express yourself in relation to a specific character. Maybe it's a character that is officially licensed by a company that you support, like as an example, John Wick or Superman, or it's just a character that you like because you think it looks cool. These characters can be purchased by every single person that plays in the game. You have to pay money for it, but it's available to every single person. Purchasing a digital item in Fortnite and then getting it on your account is an NFT. You have entered a smart contract with the game to purchase an item which you now own on your account, and that specific item belongs to you. So that is a collectible, but is it rare? Well, if everyone has the ability to purchase the exact same item as you, although the item may be cool, the value itself may not carry because everyone can get it. The price may not increase that much. Now, if let's say it's only available for a limited time, it was only available during a specific season, or you had to complete a specific set of tasks in order to access that item, that could add value to it. And that's why people are able to sell these skins and people likely buy them. But once again, there could be millions upon millions of those skins floating around. And because they're not minted on a blockchain or a ledger or verified, and they could very easily be stolen or possibly reproduced in the game, and therefore could lose the value that they possibly hold at this point. So what's an example of a non-fungible token that is on a ledger that for one reason or another currently has value? If you know anything about NFTs, you'll know that CryptoPunks was one of the original NFTs that came out. I believe they came back out in 2017. And at the time, if I remember correctly, there was approximately 10,000 of them minted. The appeal to CryptoPunks, or at least from my understanding of why people love them so much, is that although there was 10,000 of them minted, there was a certain amount of characteristics that are unique to each character. And because each character can have 8 different traits, no 2 characters are exactly identical. And characters that have the most unique circumstances, meaning that they all only have one characteristic from each category, become the most valuable. Now, we've recently seen CryptoPunks absolutely blow up in the media in the last couple weeks. I'm on the website right now, and the cheapest CryptoPunk that is currently for sale that is listed online is $136,000. The cheapest CryptoPunk is $136,000. Now, I'm not knocking CryptoPunks. I have nothing against collectors and collecting, and everyone finds value in collectibles for different reasons, and I respect that. Would I pay $136,000 for a 64-bit image on a computer screen that, in my opinion, has very little utility? I would not. But that's just my preference based on this one specific collectible. Now, we can see that there's tons of these available. And if we go all the way to the bottom, one that recently made media headlines was this CryptoPunk right here. Now, I guess in these circles, this CryptoPunk is considered one of the holy grails of CryptoPunks, because I guess the features that this CryptoPunk has is very unique to it and makes it very rare. It's listed for $178 million or 60,000 Ethereum. I'll let you guys be the judge. If there's someone watching this video right now that has an extra $178 million kicking around and you'd like to make that purchase, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, because you're the type of friends I need in my life. Once again, this video not meant to knock CryptoPunks or any other form of collectibles. There are tons of collectibles out there. There are tons of NFT projects that have recently entered the space, and I wish nothing but the best to all of them. But in my opinion, from a collecting perspective, what is going to make collecting unique? What stops someone from making a almost identical version of CryptoPunks? And many of them there's been many offshoots and many have popped up that aren't called CryptoPunks. They seem fairly simple to make and generate, and then go down the rabbit hole that way and just become completely inundated and flooded with these types of projects. It's already happening right now. I'm not going to pull them up on the screen because, like I said, the point of this video is not to undermine or knock any of the projects that are currently out there. But just as an example, to me, this doesn't have a ton of utility. It's a social flex that you can say that you own this specific item, and that is its inherent value, is that you own it, it's rare, and someone else can't own it. Now, does that stop them from taking a screenshot of this and putting it as their Twitter profile picture or anything like that? No, of course not. But they don't own the actual image, and that's verifiable on the blockchain. So that is one of the appealing aspects of the blockchain. And one of the reasons that I believe that VEVE Digital Collectibles are going to be the king of the NFT space for years, if not decades to come. The reason that we're bringing this full circle to VEVE is we now understand what a non-fungible token is. We understand that it's a smart contract. We understand that anyone has the ability to print out or produce anything and claim that they own it themselves. We understand that we enter into smart contracts almost on a daily basis, that we may have purchased smart contracts in relation to an infinite amount of items that may be available online. We know that collectors will pay top dollar for things that have brand recognition. And we also know that people will also pay a pretty penny to be able to flex because they own something that is scarce, limited, and has some form of perceived social value. VEVE has a mix of all of these things. VEVE is a digital collectible company that has secured digital license rights for hundreds of the top licensed brands in the world. Now, when I say top licensed brands in the world, I'm talking Marvel, DC, Ghostbusters, Batman, Star Trek, Superman, Jurassic Park. We're talking top tier partnerships with Louis Vuitton, Moet Hennessy, Givenchy. They're branching out into so many different avenues and streams that have already been confirmed, and so many more that are still rolling out now. The most recent drop that happened on VEVE was the first introduction of Marvel and Spider-Man as a premium licensed digital collectible. For anyone that is into collectibles, you understand the importance of a first appearance and how that adds additional value to the collectible. The fact that Marvel, who is one of the biggest licensed brands in the world, and their IP is one of the most valuable in the entire world, was able to sign with a company like VEVE is because they understand their vision and why NFTs as a concept and how they are being rolled out as digital collectibles on the VEVE app are going to have value for their company and for collectors in the VEVE app for years to come. So as an example for this drop, which happened just yesterday, there was 5 collectibles that were available. The common had 32,000 editions, which sounds like quite a bit. And the secret rare, which was the rarest, had 1,000 editions. This cost $400 to get this. Now, looking at this, people would say, well, that's a digital image. How is that any different than this? I can take a picture of this. I now own this, and no one can take that away from me. Now, I will be doing a part 2 at some point to this video if people have interest in it to see my collection, because I was lucky enough to secure a secret rare in the drop yesterday. So I will be able to show you the animation that comes along with this. But this isn't just a picture on a piece of paper. This has the ability to do animations. It has sound effects associated with it. And eventually, once VEVE rolls out, we already have virtual showrooms, but once we roll out the VEVEverse, which is a metaverse that will be coming at some point later this year, you will be able to interact with the collectibles that you own in the VEVEverse. Now, as an example, going back to Fortnite, which has its own metaverse, you own this skin for whatever you paid for the skin, and you can walk around and interact with other people in the metaverse. People will know the rarity of the skin that you own in Fortnite if they don't have it, and it may have value to them because they want the skin that you have. Now, VEVE currently has 500,000 users, and they're on pace to hit over 1 million by the end of this year, and they're projecting 3 to 5 million users by the end of 2022. Let's go back up to the common Spider-Man, which was $40 and has 32,000 editions. This sold out in 24 hours. There are a maximum of 32,000 people that own this Superman. This Superman can be displayed in augmented and virtual reality on the VEVE app. You can interact with it, place it. You can drop it in real life and take photographs with it. And for the interactive ones, you can physically interact with them in AR and VR and take photos with them, create stories with them, post them on your TikTok, your Snapchat, your Twitter, Facebook, whatever you want to do. And they're officially licensed by Marvel, which is one of the biggest IPs in the world. Now, this may not have a ton of value to you watching this right now, but if only 32,000 people can own this Spider-Man and only 1,000 people at max can own the entire collection, well, what happens when 5 million people are on this app and they want to have access to the first ever Marvel drop with the first ever Spider-Man that was seen in digital collectible format? That's going to have value. To what extent? I could not say yet, but what I do know is that my $400 collectible that I purchased yesterday is selling for about $2,700 online right now, and I'm still keeping it. I could turn around and make $2,300, which is, for some people, a month's pay in 5 seconds of work, but I understand the opportunity cost of hanging on to this item and what this could mean long term as we see additional functionality roll out in the app. These are the points that I want to hammer home to people when we're talking about NFTs. Is people look at NFTs and they think that the item that they see on the screen is an NFT. An NFT is a smart contract. This is a digital collectible. If you're willing to collect a Pokemon card that has to sit in a sleeve on your shelf and you'll spend $1 million on it, yet you can't understand the opportunity cost of purchasing a first appearance Spider-Man, which probably has about the same limited number of versions that are available for the top tier Pokemon cards, then the best way to understand it is to explore the app yourself, get familiar with it, and just start a conversation and speak with people. And that's the entire point of this video. Is it's not to say that you need to invest in this, and if you don't invest in it, you're not going to make money, or you're not intelligent, or whatever the case may be. It's to say that there are so many projects out there in the space right now. What is going to make projects stand out when people realize that social sentiment alone is not going to push up the value of collectibles? Intellectual property from the biggest brands in the world that can be leveraged in order to engage audiences that are already pre-existing are what is going to push VEVE to the top tier echelon of digital collecting. Everyone knows what Marvel is. Everyone knows what Star Trek is. If you know that the head of licensing for VEVE is Alfred Kahn, who is responsible for rebranding Pokemon and bringing it to North America, and the possibility of getting Pokemon, the fact that the NFLPA is already confirmed as a license, one of the biggest sporting franchises in North America, there's just so many opportunities that this company has to branch out. And because the intellectual property rights are granted to them and them alone, these are the only places online that you are going to see legitimately licensed IP. And for people that collect, license and the actual verification of the intellectual property is what makes things valuable. We've seen it in other games like Fortnite and stuff, who release unlimited skins. We see it in Rocket League with the different types of vehicles that they release. All of these are officially licensed digital products and people will buy them. It is no different on VEVE. The biggest thing is the scarcity of the items that will be available on the app, and the scarcity of a collectible is what is going to increase its value. If I told you that you could log on to the VEVE app right now and buy a Donnie unicorn for $30,000, you would probably look at me like I'm cross-eyed. But because there's only 150 of them that are available, and there's 500,000 people that are on the app, you are going to find people who associate and can relate with that collectible and want to purchase it. If you can tell me that I got a Rabbit Dream Comic Con that's a secret rare exclusive that now goes for $2,000 for a golden rabbit, and then say, well, why would anyone purchase that item? Well, understand, what is the reason that people purchase any of these items? Because they associate with them, they enjoy them, and they believe that they have value. What I can say for sure is that all of the licenses that are on VEVE, people know of, they associate with them, they like them, and they will have value. And the best part is that as the user base of VEVE increases, the scarcity of those collectibles remains the same, which is just going to increase their value proposition even further. I don't want to make this video too long, guys. I know it's a lot of information to throw at you. If anyone's new to the community, for the OGs, please make sure you're taking the time to educate everyone, welcome to the community with open arms, and just take the time to give them some information for people that maybe just don't understand why digital collecting is becoming such a prevalent thing in today's day and age. If they don't understand it, don't be hard on them. Remember that digital collecting is not for everyone, and at the end of the day, we're going to take the opportunities where we see them. And sooner or later, once mass adoption happens and we're seeing people on board every single day to get some of these very popular collectibles, we will know that we were a part of that change that we were able to see in the community. So make sure that we continue to support everyone, make sure that we remain positive. And like I said, leave your comments down in the comment section below if you guys have any questions, if you want clarification on anything, and if there's anything that you'd like to see in a part 2, if you'd like to see my collectibles, we can talk about the specific IPs that they're associated with and why they may have value, or anything else. Just let me know. Once again, the content that I want to provide for you guys is being fueled by the information and questions that you have. I'm an open book, so if there's anything you'd like to know or anything you'd like to discuss, I'd like to be able to do that for you. Once again, guys, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. Love you. Peace out.